Back to Basics. It's Dana, Ms. Dangerous, and I'm your vlogger for today. So this August, we've been talking about school themes, and in this last week of August, I can't believe it's the last week of August, our discussion is about how did our weight affect our social and dating life when we were younger. So definitely I know that my weight had an effect on those things, but probably the weight wasn't the only thing that affected that. So I moved a lot when I was a kid, and in fact up from the time I went from kindergarten up until my freshman in high school. So for my high school years, all 4 years of my high school years, we were in the same place, but up until then we had moved all over the place, which meant when you're relocating a lot, it's hard to make friends and get into a social circle. And when I went into a freshman in high school, and actually in Texas where I went, 9th grade, you're freshman, but you're still technically in the junior high building. So I went in there at the beginning of the year. A lot of people had been going to school together, and, you know, social circles are already somewhat established. And so I had to go in as a stranger and then kind of build my social circle just in those high school years. In addition to being overweight, I probably had multiple threats. I wore big, thick glasses. I had LASIK surgery in, I think, 1999 or 2000. Probably the other major health intervention that made a huge, huge impact in my daily life because I was very dependent on my glasses. And I'm not any longer. But anyway, I was overweight, had big, fat glasses. My teeth were even more crooked than they are now. And I had moved a lot, didn't know friends, so multiple threats. My parents did not want me dating until I was 16, because that's just the way they were raised. And actually, I kind of agree with that. I think if you start dating too early, then you don't have things to look forward to and get old as you get older. So anyway, I had a very small social circle. I wanted to be popular. I was not. I had a small social circle that was primarily based on being in the music program. I sang and was pretty good, and so I got a small social circle. I had the same best friend all through 4 years of high school. She came from a very conservative religious background, so she did not do a lot of partying and run with a lot of friends, but she and I were running buddies, and we would hang out at each other's houses, and we would do a few kinds of other activities, but we did not do parties and all of that sort of stuff. Once we started driving, the big deal was go to the Sonic drive-in, because that's what you do in West Texas. So her parents also did not want her dating too early. So really, neither of us started dating until we were, even though my parents said 16, I didn't start dating until I was 17, almost 18. Yeah, 17. My senior year in high school. And that's really because that's the first time that any guys were interested in me to do anything remotely like dating. I had a lot of crushes from afar, and then those never panned out. And I never even really had close guy friends. I wasn't good at sports. My girlfriends didn't have close guy friends. So really, I was pretty isolated. When I did start dating, I would say the fact that I hadn't had guys that were really attracted to me before, the minute that I became friends, even just friends with a guy, close friends, or a guy showed interest in me, then I went goo goo gaga. And when I look at a pattern of kind of historical pattern, it was hard for me, and it probably still is hard for me to separate the friendship feelings with a man from the romance feelings of with a man. And my first couple of boyfriends were probably more friendship friends that we kind of pushed the issue and got to be boyfriend, girlfriend. But they were always kind of odd relationships. I did, when I was 21, met a guy, and we got into a very serious relationship very fast. We lived together for 7 years. We have a daughter together. When I look back at that relationship now, I would say primarily we were in it because of the attention he paid to me, and I wanted to be loved really bad. We had very different backgrounds, in all honesty. I was never, I don't think, in love. I was in love with the idea of being in love. We had a very mismatched value system, and that became apparent as we lived together over a course of years. So, you know, still to this day, and this has been a challenge as I've gone into, you know, a new thin person, I like the attention I get from friends and from the opposite sex. And if I were younger and if I were single, it could probably be very, very dangerous for me. Yeah, it's very heady. And I know that that directly goes back to those school days of not having attention paid to me by the opposite sex for so long, and I really did crave it and want it, and I still crave it and want it. So it is one of the things that I deal with in my head and try to get my hands around. Even for people to compliment me now, men especially, I get really flustered. And I like it, but it also makes me really uncomfortable. There's like this line in familiarity that I worry about crossing with men especially. Because of that holdover and that temptation, and because of my past of not really being able to get the difference between that attraction that is, you know, in your heart versus the attraction of your body and being in your head. So definitely, you know, I have, as I've grown up, learned to deal better with some of these issues, and I think I am have a broader social circle, and you know, I have someone that I love deeply, and I'm happily married, but it's definitely been a journey, and even before my weight loss journey started. So that's it. I don't remember school being fun for the most part when it came to relationships. Very few relationships really with girls, and you know, friends, and that's pretty much it. So I hope you have a wonderful week. I hope if you have kids or grandkids or nieces and nephews, a lot of them have already started back to school, or a lot of them will start next week after Labor Day. It's a special time of new beginnings for our young people, whether that is you know, elementary school, junior high, high school, or college. Yeah, I hope, you know, celebrate those milestones with them. I'll talk to you later. I don't think I talked about college, but really those same feelings in college, same thing. If a boy was interested in me, hey, I was all over, hey, you know, wonderful, and I didn't have many boyfriends. So, okay, that's it. Love you. Bye.